has been seen by a lot of people in the media as chaotic. But as health care and tax reform appear to be taking shape, could he be developing his legislative sea legs? Here with us now, Patriarch Organization Chairman and CEO Eric Schiffer and the Boston Herald's Adriana Cohen. Adriana, I've resisted the temptation to come out with all of the headlines we've seen about what a failure Trump is as a president, how he's not accomplishing anything. But it looks like he is beginning to accomplish something, at least in terms of dealing with Congress, no?
Oh, absolutely. President Trump and his administration have so much to be proud of. In just these, 96 days, they've assembled their cabinet. They've nominated, appointed a Supreme Court justice. They've reestablished Obama's, enforced his red line. They've handled multiple foreign policy crises, not to mention all the jobs they've saved and created, all the regulations that they've cut that were putting a wet blanket on the business sector. I mean, the list of achievements are incredibly impressive. And perhaps, if we look at this from the business side, I mean, just look at what Alibaba announced this week, that they're going to be launching a program that's going to now allow 1 million U.S. businesses to sell products to their roughly 500 million customers in China on Alibaba. That's just incredible. So he's renewed optimism on Wall Street. We see how Wall Street has rallied, especially over the past 2 days. I'm giving him an A at this point.
Well,
I mean,
Eric,
despite one or two stumbles, I would give him probably an A or
the stumbles,
A-.
Eric, really had to do with him fitting into Washington. The guy's not a politician, first of all. Yes, he's dealt as a lobbyist for his own business interests, but that's about it in terms of his understanding of the way Washington works. And he was balancing his drain the swamp rhetoric with trying to get something done legislatively. That was a tough balance to do, Eric.
Yeah, I think it's a tough balance, especially in this environment. And I think he also had to frame it in a way that was non-traditional. But I think he's learning. There's no question he's learning. If he just follows through on the corporate tax cut, which at 15% is phenomenal for business owners. I mean, I own many businesses. 15% just means more jobs you're going to be adding. That alone. And I think what you're seeing, you said it right, David, earlier, which is this wasn't about France. It's not about the geopolitical risk. I think that's already been baked in. It's really about, is he going to follow through on the agenda that will actually help the economy? Tax cuts, continue cutting regulation, trade adjustments, and it looks like he's going to. That's great for the economy.
Well, Adriana, one thing we haven't heard about it, we may hear about it tomorrow, but is the smaller businesses, the non-incorporated businesses, subchapter S, individuals who have their own businesses. How is, at some point tomorrow, is Mnuchin or one of his economic guys got to address that audience? Say it's not just for the big corporations, the smaller businesses and individuals have to be addressed here as well.
Absolutely. That's so important because, first of all, the optics would be terrible if he only gives corporations a break, but not the middle class.
That plays into the Democrats' hands. They would love that. They'd say, okay, we proved he just cares about his billionaire friends.
Exactly. And so I think it's imperative that Steve Mnuchin and President Trump give a tax break to private individuals as well as the small business sector. But if we just go back to the Alibaba thing, that's going to allow literally over the next 5 years, Jack Ma is going to come to Detroit in June, and he's going to literally teach and train U.S. businesses how to sell products to China. Big. And it's primarily small businesses that are going to benefit to the tune of almost 500 million customers just on that one platform.
Folks,
it's
we gotta
really
leave.
Incredible.
But Eric, I want to go back to a point I made with my previous guest about the swamp and how the swamp is resisting any kind of meaningful change, because the swamp doesn't represent average Americans. The swamp represents those privileged classes who've gotten all the special breaks. Do you think Trump is strong enough to really break through that barrier?
Yes, I think certainly in the key things, I think you're going to see a tax cut. You may not be 15%. I think he's positioning to negotiate. But yes, I think he will crack through. Look, this is someone who certainly gets working with lobbyists. He gets a lot of the behind the scenes. He's been doing it for years. And I think he's also learned some important lessons in how to approach it over this next cycle, where he's going to be able to get victories. So yes, I do. I think that many lobbyists and certainly the moneyed people behind them are concerned. I think they're concerned because they know they're going up against
let's
this
hope
next
they are
cycle
concerned.
in a situation that'll be difficult.
I'm happy when they're concerned. That makes me feel he's on the right track. Eric Schiffer and Adriana Cohen, good to see you both. Thank you very much. And coming up,
Great to see
President
you.
Trump.